Good evening, Reichart. How are you doing today? I hope you had a wonderful day today. Cement Shoes, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope you had a wonderful day as well. Karen Gillette, welcome. Jennifer, hello, everyone. Hi, Will, and everyone. I hope we are having a great day today. Alpha Fam, right on time. Hey, y'all. Doing great, Will. Good, good. So the tonight's questions are on the scale of 3.1 to 7.6 for the trivia questions tonight. They all come from rock, country, pop, and R&B. There's no jazz, no classical, and no hip hop in the questions tonight or rap. So judge accordingly. I picked all the questions and just put them into the list. The other thing that you'll notice tonight is there's no pictures or anything to go with it. I'm still working on I got the music part and the intro to finally work. Now we're working on trying to get the pictures and the audio to work at the same time. So we're figuring it out. It's slowly though. Some shoes, Inner Peas, good evening. Welcome in purple. Welcome. Welcome to Music Trivia. Hope we all had a great weekend and you're having a great day today. All right, we're going to give it a couple more minutes here and then we're going to get this going. Don't forget, if you enjoy the trivia, give it a thumbs up. We do have one bonus question tonight, and that's because I realized after I put this list together that one of the questions may have been on the trivia before. So I added a bonus question. So there's technically 21 questions, but one of them may have been on the trivia before. But we'll see how everybody does with tonight's. I tried to pick ones that were a little bit more, balanced, between the different genres of rock, country, pop, and R&B. So it's not so heavily weighted in one direction. I did add more Beatles questions because it was suggested, and it was to add more Beatles trivia questions. So I definitely added Beatles questions to the list tonight. Gone Girl, good evening. Hey, Will, how are you and the fam? Not bad. Gone Girl, not bad at all. Shay, welcome as well. My wife is currently gardening right now, and little man is running around in the house doing whatever he wants with his sister. His sister's kind of hanging out with him today. She has the day off, so a pretty relaxed day. I can't complain. I've been sitting here in the studio. I got everything done. Yesterday pretty much for the trivia. So today I've just been watching Fascinating Graveyards and Fascinating Graves and Hollywood Graveyard. So I've been watching both of those, kind of like binge watching them throughout the afternoon. Doing well, thank you. To see all of you. Oh, good. Little Taco, little man. Yeah. Today was his last day of break, so he goes back to school tomorrow. So he's not looking forward to that. Good evening, Lieutenant RN. All right, let's get this party started with the first question tonight. With Lamont at Largeville, yeah, Lamont's Fascinating Graves. So I watch Lamont at Large, and I watch his other channel, Fascinating Graves. And then I was also watching Hollywood Graveyard, because it's the last like couple of episodes are viewer. He turns it over to the viewers to in the Midwest of the United States. So they did Ohio, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Different fascinating graves there. On Hollywood Graveyard. But so I find it interesting. Learning a little bit of history behind the famous graves that are out there. Oh, today was chill. The Home Depot burned to the ground near where you live. Oh, I'm sorry. Love watching Lamont. So do I, Linda. I really like the whenever I can catch him, whenever he'll do the lives. So I wish Lamont would do more of those. But hey, take what you can get from some people. Stacy, good evening and welcome. All right, let's get the first question up on the screen here. Put me in my little window. So I hope that you see the entire first question, because I need to adjust it down. But it's, which Irish band released the album War? Was it A, Journey, B, the Pub Crawlers, C, U2, or D, Madness? Mini Will, yes. Love old graveyards. I saw the comment. Chris, good evening and welcome to Music Trivia. There is a graveyard that I like to go to old graveyards and kind of look at the tombstones, headstones, of people. And there is a graveyard that is here locally that is it's got to be at least a 6-ton headstone, and it's a Rubik's cube on a point, and you can actually turn the entire Rubik's cube on that one single axis point. The whole thing turns. Really cool. I cannot tell you whose grave it is because there's no markings on it at all of like who it is. Just has the birth date and then the death year. But I have no idea whose grave it is. I keep on wanting to look it up on look up a grave, but I never get around to it. But it's a giant Rubik's cube. And, each side is colored just like a Rubik's cube. The thing's huge. You can grab a corner of it and turn the whole thing. So red or yellow is facing forward. There's one in South Awesome. Yeah, that's true. I've been to a lot of graveyards all over the United States, from Florida, to Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and it's kind of unique in certain areas, like especially like New Orleans, because of the water table. Graves are above ground and tomb, and as opposed to like in New Mexico, the traditions, for burying someone in New Mexico is vastly different from the West Coast or East Coast. So, Lucky Charms Leprechaun Band. That's a cool gravestone. Yeah, I like to look at some of the old ones and then try to figure out, just mentally, it's like you look at a really big, obelisk or something, that's a headstone. And you try to wonder, and I think to myself, what did this person do in their life? What was their life like when, when obviously they're alive, but they spent a lot of money and they're, in extreme importance, and they must have had, money, and wealth, and all that to build like a big, huge, headstone like that. But who are they? Are their family members still in the community? Wherever that that headstone is. That's why I find graveyards fascinating. They're all very expensive. Well, I know just a flat marker, headstone. Yeah, we paid for one for my friend. She died 1999. But all of our friends, we all got together, did fundraising and stuff like that to buy her a headstone because her parents didn't have any money, and all they had was the little marker, where the letters slide in and out. She had that for years, and we thought that they bought a headstone for her, but they didn't have the money. So we all got together and we actually had, her head, real headstone made for her. And with the engraving, it had a picture of her in the middle, and then born and death date, and then a little saying about she was the guiding angel in a lot of people's lives. But yeah, very expensive. All right, which Irish band released the album War? My grandson finds Pokemon in our graveyard next to our building. Yeah, yeah, that dependent upon in some churches too. You can find them in churches. Because my wife plays the Pokemon. But the answer to question one is C, as in cat. U2 was the band who released the album War. Question two. What's Love Got to Do with It was a Grammy Award winning song for which artist? A, Madonna, B, Tina Turner, C, Whitney Houston, or D, Janet Jackson. Some of these cemeteries, resting places are even bigger than a living home. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And Linda, good evening, Linda. Welcome to Music Trivia. But we have a family mausoleum back home in Wisconsin. There's only 4 spots left in it. 2 of them are spoken for. One was supposed to be one of my sisters, but that has passed away. But she decided she didn't want to be buried in the family mausoleum, so she was cremated, and then she wanted her ashes buried near her family, other extended family members. I guess you'd call it. It was like from marriage. So her spot was now up for grabs, I guess, in there. So there's one for my oldest sister, me, and then my 2 younger sisters were the four spots that are left. I don't know if I'll make it there for it, because if I die here, it's going to cost a lot of money to ship my ass all the way home to stuff me into there. But at least you don't have to pay for the burial plot, right? Because it's all been paid for. My dad's not even in there. My dad's buried just outside of the family mausoleum. Hairspray, Tina Turner. A lot of bees. People, what's love got to do with it? I just bought mine near my brother and sister. There you go. A lot of people, you really should have that conversation with your families. It's something a lot of people don't do. They don't really, want to think about the end of life and where you're going to go after this, what's going to happen to this vessel that you're currently housing. There's green, funerals, where they just stick you out and dig a hole in the ground and plant a shrub over the top of you and call it good, to cremation, to, full burials. What are your last wishes? And do you have the funding? Is it going to be a burden to the family to try to pay for that? Mine was just put down last week. Tina Louise. I will be buried with my grandma and grandpa after I'm cremated. Well, that's cool, Purple. None of us are in a hurry to get there, but it's all something we need to think about. Me and my wife signed up through the Neptune Society, which is, it's a starting point. You don't have to, but it's a starting point. It's something that to sit down and think about. Because none of us get out of this life alive. My dad's in the veteran cemetery, and my mom will be buried with him. I'm on my own, but I'd rather go to a body farm Yeah, I don't know if there's a body farm left, Stephanie, and welcome. I don't know if there's a body farm left that's accepting bodies. Um, there might be somewhere, but I'm not aware of one. The most sure thing in our lives is death, of course, death and taxes. You're going to get taxed to death and you're going to eventually die. But anyways, I don't want to talk about too much depressing, beyond that. What's love got to do with it? Was a Grammy award winning song for which artist? The correct answer for question 2 is B as in boy, Tina Turner. Tina Turner. Question 3. Which band had the hit Atomic? Was it A, Blondie, B, Tears for Fears, C, Shaka Khan, or D, Rufus? Which band had a hit with Atomic? Stephanie, if you are the only child, you can be buried with your parents in the cemetery. Which band had a hit? Had the hit Atomic? Sister-in-law was cremated and her ashes spread in the forest. There you go. Yeah, we spread my buddy's ashes on the coast. You got to be careful how you do that too. Some places require that you have a permit to do it. Left-hand RN, Shay, and Reichard, Stephanie, all going with A so far for Blondie. Atomic. What band had the hit Atomic? Blondie, Tears for Fears, Shaka Khan, or Rufus? Purple's going with Rufus. I do not remember this one. Here I go again on my own. E, the Unabomber. The Unabomber. Atomic. Karen Gillette is going with A, with Blondie as well. What band had the hit Atomic? Yeah. I've read a lot about Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, and I still don't buy the entire official transcript that his brother was reading letters that were posted that he had written and then said, "That's my brother." Of all the people in the world, you read something, you knew it was your brother, so you turned him in. Don't buy it. I think there's a lot more to the story than what the FBI and and the rest of the government has told us about it. Don't want to be a conspiracy nut. I mean, I think Ted Kaczynski probably did it, but I think there's more to the story than what they've let on. Change to eighth is purple. Which band had a hit with Atomic? Well, we got A. Besides Inner Peas, it looks like everybody's going with E. She went with D for the Unabomber, but everybody else is going with A. The correct answer to question 3 is A as an apple. A as an apple, Blondie. Good old Rapture, Blondie. Question 4, Gone Girl F. I love the song Automatic. Excuse me. Okay, question 4. Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe form which English synth pop duo? Is it A, Kool and the Gang, B, Dio, C, Pet Shop Boys, or D, Men at Work? Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe form which English synth pop duo? Kool and the Gang, Dio, Pet Shop Boys, or Men at Work? Change. A says Reichardt, Kool and the Gang. C, Left-Handed RN. Jennifer A, question mark. C says Shay and Gone Girl. I forgot all about Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe, tell you the truth. It's a great group, but I totally forgot all about them. Wish I would have, paid more attention. I wonder, kind of like what they're doing now, and I had to look them up online, prior to the trivia tonight. The other day when I finished this up, I jumped onto YouTube and listened to some of the old, 80s songs. Okay, I'm changing my answer to C. Interpees Simon and Garfunkel. C says Purple. Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe form which English synth pop duo? Karen Gillette going with C as well. Linda is going with C, the Pet Shop Boys. All right, question number 4. The correct answer is C as in cat, Pet Shop Boys. And I'm sorry again to say that I totally forgot all about them. I should have, I think they put out some pretty good music. I mean, I wouldn't, say that I was a huge fan of the Pet Shop, Boys, but there was definitely some music that they put out that I liked, that I fondly remember. All right, question 5. What artist had the lyric of "I'm never going to dance again, guilty feet got no rhythm"? Is it A, George Michael, B, Peter Gabriel, C, Sammy Hagar, or D, Irene Cara? Which artist had the lyrics, "I'm never going to dance again, guilty feet have got no rhythm"? Stacy, good evening. Welcome to Music Trivia. McFarland says A, in case I didn't say hello earlier. A, Jennifer Hill, Gone Girl, A, Cement Shoes, A. Right card, thank you, my dear. We got a lot of A's guesses so far. Guess maybe this one's an easy one, huh? Awesome choices. Guess C, but never heard of them. The Pet Shop Boys. They're a good band. 80s music. What artist had the lyrics, "I'm never going to dance again, guilty feet have got no rhythm"? Purple's going with A. George Michael, Peter Gabriel, Sammy Hagar, or Irene Cara. I love Wham also. What artist had these lyrics? Do, 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 do. Right Cart loves Wham as well. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Gone Girl, I love Wham. Well, these lyrics don't belong to Wham, but they do belong to George Michael. The correct answer for question 5 is A as in apple, George Michael. But guilty feet, I'd have to say E for Elaine on Seinfeld. That's good. All right, question 6. Who was the original bass player for the Beatles? Was it A, James Franco, B, Stuart Sutcliffe, C, Pete Best, or D, John Lennon? Who was the original bass player for the Beatles? A, James Franco, B, Stuart Sutcliffe, or C, Pete Best, or D, John Lennon? Who was the original bass player for the Beatles? Wake me up before you go. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. It's one of those things I can't seem to break even when I say a lot of things that like whenever if somebody asks me a question like, are you ready to go to the store or go to an event, and or I'll say good to go. It's just there are things that are from when I was in the service. They just can't get. They're inbred in my head. I don't even notice that I'm saying them sometimes. C, I'm copying left-handed RN. Karen Gillette's going with B. Jennifer D. Gone Girl C. Shay B. Linda C. Lieutenant RN is changing to B. Right, Gart. Lieutenant RN is changing to B. Who was the original bass player for the Beatles? Somebody tell me the answer. I'm at 100% so far. I got nothing. It's Stacy. We got B. Stephanie going with B. 6 questions in, she's batting 1,000. Who was the original bass player for the Beatles? Well, I think we can probably eliminate A. James Franco. He's an actor. He's not even a musician. Stuart Sutcliffe, maybe. Pete Best, maybe. John Lennon, maybe. Those all 3 of them are musicians. Because it's just using a lot, So now we can we've eliminated 1. Now we have a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right. I finally learned how to play. Who is the original bass player for the Beatles? The answer for question 6, ladies and gentlemen, is B as in boy. Peter Sutcliffe was the original bass player for the Beatles. Peter Sutcliffe. The suspense is killing me. Are the Beatles considered oldies music now? Right, Kurt? Yes, they are. Answer what I know and wait for the majority or someone who sounds like they know. That's basically it, Stephanie. Yeah. But yeah, Stuart Sutcliffe was the original bass player. Welcome, Samantha. Samantha Mustard McDowell. All right, question 7. Who was referred to as the Fifth Beatle? Was it A, Brian Epstein, B. George Martin, C. Pete Best, D. The second Paul McCartney. Who was referred to as the fifth Beatle? Brian Epstein, George Martin, Pete Best, or the second Paul McCartney? B says Stewart here. I won't copy or left that RN no more. E, Volkswagen. Volkswagen, the fifth Beatle. Da-dum-dum. It's 420 somewhere. You might as well smoke them if you got them. Yeah. B, C, C, E. Got a little bit of everything so far. Question 7. Shay says A. Linda is going with B, question mark. Lieutenant RN going with A. Hi, roomies. Who was referred to as the fifth Beatle? Is there anything that we can eliminate from the list? Y'all ain't helping me, so I'm going with E, inner peas. The right to remain silent was the fifth Beatle. Well, I think we can remove D from the list unless you believe that Paul McCartney died and that he was replaced with a lookalike. So that would then leave it to 1 and 3. Who it was referred to as the fifth Beatle? That's a tricky one. Those names all seem familiar. Tinfoil hat at the ready. Who is it that there's a YouTuber who actually wears tinfoil? She wears tinfoil hats. Can't remember. I've seen a couple of her videos, and I'm just like, this is just bizarre stuff. But it's a gimmick, and people know her for it, I guess. Tinfoil hats. All right, who was referred to as the fifth Beatle? Question 7. Nope, Jasmine. Hear me out. The correct answer for question 7, ladies and gentlemen, is A, as in apple. Brian Epstein. No relation to that Jeffrey guy in New York, but Brian Epstein was considered the fifth Beatle. He was referred to as the fifth Beatle by each and every member of the Beatles. They said he was, like a brother. He was kindred to them all. He helped them, with writing and composing to touring, you name it. He helped them in so many different ways throughout their careers. Noir, Jasmine. Yeah, that's the lady with the tinfoil hat. Question 8. Who came up and is credited by every member of the band with the idea for to name the band the Beatles? Who came up with and is credited by every member of the band with the idea to name the band the Beatles? Was it A, Ringo Starr, B, Pete Best, C, Ravi Shankar, or D, Stuart Sutcliffe? My phone aren't ducking bonding. Oh. Oh my God, the Epstein's. Who came up with and is credited by every member of the band with the idea to name the band as the Beatles? Beatles. Ringo, Pete Best, Ravi Shankar, or D. Stuart Little? Stuart Sutcliffe. That's Stuart Little. Stuart Sutcliffe. E. Got the dog. D D A D D E. Who came up and is credited by every member of the band with coming up with the name Beatles? Jennifer Hill. A is the only name I know for sure. I will have to go with E. Alex. What is orchid? Alex, I would like to take what is a pest control company for $100. I wonder how big that bong was. probably just a normal sized bong, but what was in it that they were smoking? It was probably hashish back then. I don't know. Yeah, think about when the band started. Was it marijuana? Was it hash? You know, because I mean, they all definitely got into it later on. All right, question 8. Who came up with and is credited by every member of the band with the idea to name the band as Beatles? The correct answer is D as in dog. Stuart Sutcliffe, not Peter. D as in dog, Stuart Sutcliffe is the answer for question 8. Question 9. Which Irish band had hits with Linger, Salvation, and Zombie? Is it A, U2, B, Enya, C, Cranberries, or D, Echo and the Bunnymen? Which Irish band had hits with Linger, Salvation, and Zombie? Karen Gillette going with C. Shay C, left hand RN is going with C. Samantha Mustard McDowell. E. Lori Vallow. Oh my God. Well, I don't think Lori Vallow has had an original idea in her entire pathetic life. But, could be. She definitely believed in zombies and salvation. C, of course, is Reichart. Jennifer's going with A. In your head with their tanks and their bombs and their guns. Those are the lyrics, in case anybody's wondering. But with Samantha's last comment is those are lyrics to the song on Zombie. Too bad that she's gone. Which Irish band had hits with Linger, Salvation, and Zombie? Irish band. was written about troubles here in Belfast. Yeah, it definitely was. Zombie. Which Irish band had hits with Linger, Salvation, and Zombie? The Fighting Irish. Well, Charlie, welcome. Charlie's going with C. My grandkids love the band Loud. Loud. No, well, Latin. Smoke Taco. I don't think I've heard of the band Loud. I mean, my son likes to listen to music loud, but I don't know if I've ever heard of the band Loud. Huh. I probably have. I'm just drawing a blank on it right now. More Lucky Charms Leprechauns. Which Irish band had hits with Linger, Salvation, and Zombie? The correct answer to question 9, ladies and gentlemen, is the Cranberries. The Cranberries had hits with Linger, Salvation, and Zombie. No, listen loud. All right, well, question 10 is our question of the night. Tonight's prize question is worth $50, and you have 5 minutes to answer it. You can use, any search engine, Google, Bing, if they're still around. I think they are. Use whatever you can to search the question out. There is no cheating. The first person to answer it wins, and you must answer it correctly. So put the rules up so you can look them over. Those are the prize rules. I got to take myself out of the picture here. There. Those are the rules. You can read them over. They haven't changed. They have been approved as of 1/10/22. Rest in peace, Dolores Rodan. Yes. It is too bad that she's gone. But again, you can use anything you at your disposal. Ask a friend, run inside the convenience store and ask the person at the checkout counter, ask your husband, wife, friend, phone a friend, whatever lifeline you think you can find. You have the option if you win. Either, if you're a United States citizen, you have to live in the United States. I cannot offer this prize to anyone outside of the U.S. Yes, I know. That's why with the first rule number 2, prize giveaways are for U.S. residents only. Banking laws forbid me to offer the prize to anyone outside the U.S. I don't need to repeat that again, but it's there every week. But again, you have 5 minutes from the time that I showed the question to come up with the answer. First person to answer it correctly wins. And here is today's prize question. What artist was the first in history to be rumored to be a fake replacement for the real artist after the original artist was rumored to have been killed in an accident? The correct answer must be the first and last name of the individual. I'll read the question again. What artist was the first in history to be rumored to be a fake replacement for the real artist after the original artist was rumored to have been killed in an accident? It cost $66.35 to post 3-pound parcel from Kilgaroo to the UK. That's 50 quid. Jeez. In 5 minutes. 3 minutes left. Colorado. Jackson Pollock, Paul McCartney, Bernard Williams Jewelry, Paul McCartney. Try to move my cursor over to the other screen so I can actually scroll up. Paul McCartney, Milli Vanilli, Avril Lavigne. Get some good guesses so far. There's a guy who works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis. Got to be a really old guy if he's working. I will phone you, Will, for the answer. Yeah, my phone is off. I turn it off during the streams now. Cliff Burton says Reichardt. That's funny though, Gone Girl. That's funny. I'll call you. Phone a friend. Why not call the guy who actually put the trivia question together? That's good. Anne Friedman. What artist was the first in history to be rumored to be a fake replacement for the real artist after the original artist was rumored to have been killed in an accident? Kind of going into the conspiracy theories there. Who was the first one? What artist? Can I call Cement Shoes? You can call anybody you want, since I can't win. I'm sorry. We're looking into ways to where we can offer this, around the world. Because I know it's not fair to everybody, especially since they have to be U.S. residents. Either I think we'd have to do away with the cash option, because that's what mainly it is. They consider it money laundering. But we'd have to go back and get each and every one of the platforms that we stream to change the rules. Almost out of time. And got 10 seconds left. Van Gogh. And that's time. Okay. Nobody got it. But I was almost certain that, when I put this together, that people were going to guess Paul McCartney. But it's not. The actual answer to tonight's question is Bob Dylan. He was in a motorcycle accident in 1966. And immediately people started to believe that the person that they saw there shortly thereafter was not the real Bob Dylan, because he had cut his hair in turn from the time that he was seen in public until then. And it was the only time that he really cut his hair short. But he took the next 2 years off while recovering, rarely being seen, then spent the following 14 months working on his new album, releasing the first track in 1970 and making his first public appearance later on that same year. And Paul McCartney isn't the fake replacement for the real Paul McCartney. How many people guessed Paul McCartney? Cool. More people than anything else. But it was Bob Dylan. But people start in Minnesota. It was actually in two different newspaper clippings that they didn't believe that the person that was seen in Minnesota was actually Bob Dylan. Well, you said artist. Yeah, well, it could have been Van Gogh. Could have been Jackson Pollock, which really is, he's a bizarre man. Tell you a little story about Jackson Pollock, since I got everybody here and I got your attention right now. Now, when Jackson Pollock was just a struggling artist, a starving artist, if you will, he used to trade his actual paintings for a loaf of bread or a fish or something to eat. That and he would go around to different like stores, and say, look, I'll trade you this painting if you give me something to eat, a fish and some cheese or something. And there are, according to historians out there are as many as a dozen more Jackson Pollock original paintings that are out there somewhere. Maybe they were destroyed, maybe they got lost, maybe they're hanging in someone's living room right now. I don't know. But nobody knows where they are. They're just unknown, different things that artwork that he has traded away over his lifetime in exchange for an actual good or service. But Jackson Pollock, yes, the man who stood behind a jet airplane and threw paint in the air to splatter onto a canvas. You can art is in the eye of the beholder. But if you like that or not, or if you like some of his other more abstract works, but he did it. So you never know. You could have $1 million painting sitting in your basement or your attic right now. I mean, I don't know if he signed them all or how they would even tell if they're original, but I'm sure there's some way that they could do some kind of carbon dating testing on them and see if they're real or not. But he really did it. It says he was Bob Dylan was in a motorcycle accident in '66. Paul McCartney was in a car accident in November of '66. So did Bob Dylan have the accident before Paul McCartney? I do not know the answer to that. And the question went by. I want to address you, Purple. I do not know who had the motorcycle accident or the car accident or whatever. I don't know whose was first. I just know that the trivia said that the very first person who people started rumors about was the fake one, a fake replacement was Bob Dylan. But a lot of people remember that, the conspiracy theory about Paul McCartney, because it's still talked about to this day, where the one about Bob Dylan pretty much died off. But they say that Bob Dylan was the first one that people believe is a fake, not the real Bob Dylan. Scatty Nona, good evening, welcome. I'm gonna pay myself $50 for thinking outside the box about artists. You do that. Joe has a basement full. Betty Blue, good evening and welcome. All right. Go on to next question. Question 11. Paranoid Android was a hit for which band? Paranoid Android. A, Radiohead. B, REM. C, Journey. Or D, Meatloaf. Paranoid Android was a hit for which band? And I'm trying to get my picture back in the little window. There we go. Put the little mini wheel in the corner. Will's trust the trivia. You are a knit fact checking Will. Well, thank you, Samantha. I double check these questions as much as possible, and with multiple different sources. I don't know, some of the information that needs to be, had about the background of some of these questions, but Reichardt is going with Black Sabbath. Paranoid. Great album, by the way. Black Sabbath. Let's see here. There it is right there. Black Sabbath Paranoid album. War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, and Fairies Wear Boots. With a very, very young, Ozzy Osbourne. When was this released? 1970. 1970. Yeah, Talking Heads. They had Psycho Killer, but Serial Killer. You have the record, Will? Oh, I've got multiple copies, right, Cart? This one's kind of faded. I've got multiple copies of it. I've got a sealed one that's never been played as well. Still has the sticker on it from Sears Roebuck. Still sealed. But those two copies I actually listened to. Paranoid Android was a hit for which band? A. Radiohead, B. REM, C. Journey, or D. Meatloaf? Paranoid Android. L. Berber. Welcome. Welcome to Music Trivia. I'm glad you could join us. Oh, forgot to put me in the little window. Hi. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are only on question 11 of 21. There is a bonus question tonight because one of the questions on the trivia tonight, I do believe, has been on the trivia before. And I didn't have a chance to go back and actually check to make sure, but for some reason it sounded like it was familiar. So I added an extra bonus question tonight. Paranoid Android. Question 11. Who had a hit with that? Paranoid Android. Minnie Will is punished to sent to the corner. Yeah, you don't put baby in the corner, but you can put little Will in the corner. Hi. Nobody puts baby in the corner. But they put me in the corner. Nobody puts little Will in the corner. Except for Will. Paranoid Android was a hit for which band? The correct answer for question 11, ladies and gentlemen, is A as in Apple, Radiohead. Radiohead had the hit Paranoid Android amongst other songs. We'd never remember. What is this? There it is. All right, question 12. Who sang the movie title track to Titanic? Titanic. Who sang the movie title track to Titanic? Was it A. Whitney Houston, B. Cindy Hendrix, C. Mariah Carey, or D. Celine Dion? D, C, D. Bob Dylan's accident was in July 29th, 1966 in Woodstock, New York. When was Paul McCartney's? Did you say November? So did Bob Dylan was first, I guess. My ears are still ringing from it. E, Van Halen. Oh, don't, not C. Oh, do, not C. D, LOL. Who sang the movie title track to Titanic? Whitney Houston, Cindy Hendrix, Mariah Carey, or Celine Dion? Who sang the title track to the movie Titanic? Afro Man, Afro Man, 'cause I got high. Da 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 da. I was going to pay my child support, but I got high. I was going to clean my room, but I got high. But I got high, but I got high, but I got high. Not Van Halen in their piece. Slayer sang the Titanic song. Wherever you go. I got a kick out of Afro Man. Jimmy's cousin? I don't know if they're related or not. To tell you the truth, I thought Cindy Hendrix, November 9th, 1966. Love that song. But Afro Man. Don't know what the relationship is about with Cindy Hendrix. It could just be a coincidence. I mean, it's not a very popular last name in the music industry. At least I don't think it is, but I don't know. But who sang the movie title track to Titanic? Paul McCartney. It was November 9th, 1966. Cindy Brady. Cindy. Well, as long as it wasn't Marsha. Marsha. My apologies to those who love the song. I just get a kick out of it. It's not anything on my playlist. I get a kick out of his songs, Afro Man songs. I think they're funny. Never heard of her. Neither have I. Marsha. All right, who sang the movie title track to Titanic? The correct answer for question 12 is D, as in dog. Celine Dion sang the title track to movie title track to Titanic. D, as in dog. Celine Dion. Wonder what she's doing these days. Is she still singing? Touring? I don't know. Hope so. But question 13, here we go. Country music is not dead or fading away. How many country western radio stations play country western music full time? Hint, this includes XM and all streaming radio stations. Is it A, 1,102 stations in America? B, 6,709 stations in America? C, 2,031 stations in America? Or D, less than 997 left in America? D as in dog. She is fighting an eating disorder. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, that sucks. And those eating disorders are real, ladies and gentlemen. I used to work in a hospital as a dietary aide. Let's just say it was an awful long time ago. But my job was, as a dietary aide, was I had to bring the meals to each floor to the nurses' stations, and they used to have a floor there in the hospital. I think it was like the sixth or seventh floor of the hospital. It was all bulimics and anorexics, and other people with eating disorders, and the patients be waiting there as soon as the freight elevator would open, you know, begging, with cash or whatever they had, to give us extra food, or give me a utensil or something. They always wanted something. It was sad as hell. I do feel bad for Celine's grief in hell. Will, this does not qualify as a real country music trivia question. It doesn't? Okay. Well, there are more. This is just the first one. My wife left me, my dog died, and my truck won't start. That's what people joke about when it's country music. But how many country western stations are still around? And this includes all XM and all streaming radio stations in America. Excuse me. See, Inner Peace gets it. Jennifer is going with D, less than 997. She thinks my tractor sexy. That's got to be a Toby Keith song, right? If a song like that, my tractor is sexy. It sounds like something that Toby Keith would sing about. I mean, after all, he sings about red Solo cups. So, and I'm out of beer. Will was the original DoorDash at the hospital. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I worked in that hospital for 3 years as a dietary aide. And what did I do? I basically worked on an assembly line, making trays of food, and then we put them into giant carts, and I took them up to the floors where to the nurses station. That's all I basically did. But I worked there when I was in high school. I was in Edina, Minnesota. Edina. Stephanie Fisher, right? Don't ask me about numbers. I don't know. Question 13. The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is C as in cat. 2031 country western stations that play full-time, nothing but country western music. That's streaming and actual physical country western stations in America. In case you're wondering, I wrote down here on my notes, that is 5 times the amount of radio stations, streaming and physical stations that play anything classical or operatic, music. 5 times. Wow, that's a lot. There's a lot of streaming radio stations out there. If you there's you can niche something down to just the smallest little fragment. Like maybe you only want to hear 1980s country or 60s country or 70s. Pick a decade, or whatever. You can narrow it down. There's a streaming station out there that's playing just that music. Maybe you want to hear only female artists. There's stations out there that that's all they play is just female artists or male artists. They get it down there, just like in true crime. You have your your certain niches. People have picked that is what they're going to do is expose pedophiles, or they're going to talk about child murderers. That's all they've niched it down to the finest little grain. I named myself a Stevie Wonder station. We have, I think there's questions on Stevie Wonder coming up. Is Willie Nelson country, Western country? Yes, right, Cart. Willie Nelson is definitely country. Who's laughing at us now? All right, question 14. If I can get my cursor over here. There we go. What year did Mariah Lambert win Female Vocalist of the Year at the Country Music Awards, the CMAs? What year did Mariah Lambert win Female Vocalist of the Year? Was it A, 2016, B, 2017, C, 2018, or D, 2015? What year did Mariah Lambert win Female Vocalist of the Year at the CMAs? I named myself Stevie Wonder. 2015, Sketty No-No's guess. El Berber is guessing 2017. Record, I'm looking, but I don't know. Who is Mariah Lambert? It says in interviews. Who's that? Jennifer's gonna see question mark. When did Mariah Lambert win Female Vocalist of the Year at the CMAs? Good question. I did not know this until I looked it up. Question 14. What year did Mariah Lambert win Female Vocalist of the Year at the CMAs? Question 14. This isn't a country music question either. D, 2015. Ask me something about Chris Rock getting slapped. Yeah. Will Smith resigned from the American Movie Academy Motion Pictures. He resigned. That's not really a question, but you know, he definitely did it. I can understand him getting upset, about his wife having to shave her head because of prophetia, but he didn't have to do what he did. My wife had cancer, and she, her and four of her friends, they all shaved their heads and then donated their hair to Locks of Love. But then what little stubble she had, she lost because of the chemo. But the hair all came back eventually. He laughed first. Yeah. The worst part is after he slapped him, sitting there, and embarrassing himself even more by screaming from his seat. Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. Okay. But my point was, I can kind of understand why he'd be mad about that, but it's a joke. It's comedy. I just think I just think he went too far. He never should have done that. It is not the kind of message you want to send to the rest of the world. That, just because somebody tells a joke that, about your wife or your significant other, that you need and you should resort to violence. I just think it sends the wrong message, especially to so many others out there who watch that. And unfortunately, people look up to, actors, in situations like that. That he could have handled it a lot more, calmly and coolly, but he didn't have to do that. and he was banned for 10 years from the Oscars by the Academy, but he can still be nominated and win. What a sorry punishment. Yeah. I'm just surprised, right, Cart, that they didn't strip him of his award. Or, as soon as that happened, why didn't they cut away to a commercial? And they didn't have to show him, do his acceptance speech either for winning. And all of that, it was like the Academy really fumbled all that. All right, what year did Mariah Lambert win Female Vocalist of the Year at the Country Music Award Show? For question 14, the correct answer is B as in boy. 2017, Mariah Lambert won Female Vocalist of the Year at the CMAs. Question 15. Which female singer of the 90s released her first hit song, I Don't Want to Be a One-Night Stand, in 1976? Read it again. Which female singer of the 90s released her first hit song, I Don't Want to Be a One-Night Stand, in 1976? Is it A, Jody Messina, B, Mariah Lambert, C, Mary Chapin Carpenter, or D, Reba Nell McEntire? Which female singer of the 1990s released her first hit song, I Don't Want to Be a One-Night Stand, in 1976? A, C, D, and D. And Miranda. I've never heard the song. At least I don't think I have. I may have. I just don't know about the title. Jennifer Hill is going with B, Mariah Lambert. I Don't Want to Be a One-Night Stand, in 1976. Wait a minute. Have I had one too many? I hope Chris Rock sues Will Smith and the Oscars. I don't think that they will. I don't think he will. He could, but I don't think he will. I think he's just going to let it blow over, and hope that the Academy was going to step in and do the right thing. They may come to some kind of settlement out of court, for the assault. But even though Chris Rock said he doesn't want to press charges, it does not mean that they will not file charges of simple assault against against Will Smith for assaulting Chris Rock. It's not 100% his choice. He can say, I'm not going to take any part of it, and then how, but all you got to do is get somebody else for the audience or the millions of other people who actually saw it, to be able to say, yeah, I saw the assault. Someone in the 90s released a song in 1976. Yep. You got that correct, Stephanie. So this female singer in 1990s released her released her first hit song. So that means that whoever it is had a long career, because they had their first hit in 1976, but in 1990s, this artist was still releasing and making hits. So we have to figure out who it is. I had to read that 7 times and change your answer to D. Purple is going with D. Inner Peace is going with Madonna. Madonna had a lot of hits, if she was an option, yeah. Just think about it. I mean, Madonna, she was relevant for what, 30 years, something like that. 80s, 90s, 20, early 2010s, 30 years. She was releasing relevant music, and I'm sure she still will. There's nothing stopping her from continuing to do it. She's still, alive and singing. No, I still don't get it. I'ma just drink my beer and shut up. It'll make sense to you in just a minute, Jennifer. Oh, I think Reba now instead. D. All right, which female singer of the 1990s released her first hit song, I Don't Want to Be a One Night Stand, in 1976? The correct answer for question 15 is D, as in dog. Reba McEntire has had a very long career. And in the 90s, not only did she have a string of new hits, but then she got into acting and on top of it all, and she just kept on going. And but she had a whole span that entire time. She didn't stop recording. She had a lot of hits. They were on the Billboard Top 100. But her very first hit was in 1976. I Don't Want to Be a One Night Stand. It's 420 somewhere. Madonna was awesome. Yeah, but Reba McEntire was the answer to question 15. Question 16. On Georgia Satellite's self-titled album, where are the band members at for the photo on the cover? Is it A, a hotel room hallway? Is it B, a hallway inside of a house? Or C, recording studio hallway? Or D, on top of a mountain peak? Again, on Georgia Satellite's self-titled album, where are the band members at for the photo on the cover? Her sitcoms were really funny. She's pretty good at just about everything she's ever put her hand to. She's a hell of a businesswoman too. She owns several businesses that are not related to music or acting. But where is the picture for the Georgia Satellite self-titled album? Where are they at? A hotel room hallway, a hallway inside of a house, C, a recording studio hallway, or D, on top of a mountain peak? Band totally made the show. What's the new wife? A, sounds good. Stephanie's going with A, Brady Bunch staircase. I actually had an intro for my channel a couple of years ago where it was kind of like the Brady Bunch, it had the 9 squares. I only used it for like a month or so. He was great in that. Is Bonnie Raitt country? Yeah, Bonnie Raitt's country. Linda Hempel. Hi, well, Linda, good evening and welcome to Music Trivia. We are on 16 of 21 questions. Getting Nona is voting yes. Bonnie, tone the country. Marsha. Stevie Howe, I think he was, his name, what happened to him? We wonder. Don't know. On Georgia Satellite's self-titled album, where are the band members at for the photo on the cover? Where are they? The answer to question 16 is B as in boy, hallway inside of a house. They are on So this is the Georgia Satellite self-titled album. They are in the hallway. I'm trying to take the glare out of that. So that they're in the hallway of an actual house behind the drummer here. You can see it a little bit better on the picture here. But if you could focus in on the picture in the background, you can actually see the door to that leads outside of the flat that they're in. But Georgia Satellites. Big Will is back for just a minute. All right. But the answer is B as in boy, a hallway inside of a house. All right. Question number 17. The Mission UK, the band, on the album titled God's Own Medicine, what was the hidden track on the first 10,000 CDs titled? That's something that a lot of people may not remember is what a lot of artists used to do when they first put out an album. They would, on the actual jacket, they'd list 10, 16 tracks, but there would be a hidden track that was unnumbered. There'd be like 00, track on there. So you'd listen to all 16, but if you let the CD player go, it would play to the point, and then it would hit that hidden track on a CD. But we're looking for the name of the hidden track that was on the first 10,000 CDs. What was the name of that track on God's Own Medicine? Was it A, Love Me to Death, verse 2, B, Separate Part 2, C, Hereafter Studio Cut, or D, Wasteland of Whores? Too bad True Crime is gone, because I have a dark feeling Will Smith will be an answer soon. It's gone from this channel. Yes, the True Crime Trivia. I may bring it back on my other channel, 411 Now variant. I might bring it back on that channel, but it's definitely gone, from the remainder of this year at least. Because after this year is over with, I'm going to sit down and reevaluate the entire, experience that I'm offering. Go through it all again. The Mission UK, that is the name of the band. On the album titled God's Own Medicine, what was the hidden track on the first 10,000 CDs titled? The hidden track. It was track number 00. But what was the name of the hidden track? B, D, A, D. Question number 17. Stephanie Fisher, we can still give True Crime answers. Yeah. The first like three times that I did the music trivia, they were all crime related music questions, like musical artists who committed murder, musical artists who committed crimes. But I quickly ran out of actual trivia questions. Because back then it was 30 questions each night. So I think I went through 90, but and then sometimes I had two bonus questions, so 96, let's just say. And then I quickly ran out of like any good music related crime questions. Where music trivia, I still have probably about 70 that are saved, in a file in the cloud already. And all I do is just copy, highlight and drag them into the format. There's no pictures there tonight because I couldn't get that. We're still working on trying to figure out how to get the intro music and the pictures to work at the same time. I like how you think. Left-handed RN is going with A. Karen is going with C. Purple's going with A. E. The entire album backwards. The Mission UK, the band. On the album titled God's Own Medicine, what was the hidden track on the first 10,000 CDs titled? The correct answer for question 17 is B as in boy. Severina Part 2 was the hidden track. It's only found on the first 10,000 releases of the CD. It did not appear on the BMG or the Columbia House Music Club version. It was cut out of it after that, but it was on the first 10,000 albums or CDs, if you will. But it was a hidden track, number 00. Question 18. The band, The Association's greatest hits in 1967 was released by two record labels at the same time, Warner Brothers and who else? Again, the band, The Association, greatest hits released in 1967 was released by two record labels at the same time. Who was it? Warner Brothers and who? Was it A, Warner Brothers in London Records, B, Warner Brothers in Pickwick, C, Warner Brothers in Bearsville Records, or D, Warner Brothers in RCA? I better not quit my day job. The entire backwards. Who released the Association's greatest hits in 1967? Warner Brothers and who else? Now I understand why Charles Manson and his followers murdered the Hollywood celebrities after seeing the Oscars. Wow. The Star Master 191 is going with Celine Dion. I think Star Master is on a previous question. RCA is the only one I recognize, so D, says Jennifer. E, Bugs Bunny, and F, Porky Pig. Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig. That's all, folks. The Association. What songs are on the Association's greatest hits from 1967? Cherish, Windy, as in windy as in the wind, Never My Love, Along Comes Mary, Enter the Young, Everything That Touches You, Not Fair at All, Six Man Band, Time for Living, We Love, The Time Is Today, Like Always, and Requiem for the Masses. Warner Brothers, album number 1767. And on the back is all the lyrics to each and every one of the songs. And what I'm holding in my hands is the Warner Brothers version. So I don't have the other version. Guinea pig. Linda Hempel for the win. The Association's greatest hits. This is in a damn great condition for an album that was released in 1967. It's got very little press wear on the cover, no splits or tears on the jacket at all. Back in the day, you could have wrote to P.O. Box 1740, Hollywood, California, 90028. And you could have written to them to be a member of the Association's fan club. I highly doubt that fan club is probably around anymore. Left-Handed RN, you had that album? It's a great album. Wish I could play it. But I'd get copyright matched. for sure. Purple Wings is going with D. So the band, the Association's Greatest Hits in 1967, was released by two record labels at the same time, Warner Brothers and who else? The correct answer for question 18, ladies and gentlemen, is A as in Apple. Warner Brothers and London Records. It was produced in two different places at the same time. One by London Records in the UK, and the other one by Warner Brothers in California. That Warner Brothers handled all of the distribution and publication for the US market, and London Records, not in their they have no part of Warner Brothers, other than Warner Brothers wanted to release the record in the UK, and they figured out if we just license it out to another company to produce them in another place, they can take care of all of Europe with distribution and delivery of the record itself. It's the first time it happened that where a record was released by two separate companies. Usually, the major label like Warner Brothers or RCA or Capitol, they go ahead and they buy another smaller company and bring them in underneath their actual umbrella, and then say, okay, now we have two companies in two different locations, and they can release it that way. But in this instance, in 1967, the greatest hits by the Association, it was done by two separate companies, and all they did was lease out the rights to produce the record, and then they shared in the profits, I guess. All right, question number 19. What was the original name for the Supremes? What was the original name of the band, the Supremes? This is the question I believe was on the trivia before, so I added a bonus question tonight. But what was the original name of the Supremes? Was it A, the Primettes, B, the Sloans, C, the Sisters 3, or D, the GLD? And I have no idea what that stands for. Hey, everyone, remember to hit that like button. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I appreciate, and everybody who's been here tonight, and played along with this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see a certain band or artist or, genre covered, put it in the comment section underneath the video, and I will try to add it to the next one. But what was the original name for the Supremes? Before, obviously, the Supremes, what was their name beforehand? E, the Average. The Average, it's obviously not the white band, not the Average White Band, because that's a whole other band. I've got some records by the Average White Band. Well, if he doesn't know, it's time for us to guess. GLD. I don't know if it was supposed to be gold without the O. If it's if it was one letter from each of the first three members, don't have a clue. I tried looking it up, couldn't figure it out. But I think this question was on a previous trivia. I may have known then. Louise is going with A, and good evening and welcome to the music trivia, Louise. In case I missed you earlier, sounds like an original name of the Supremes. F. Mirek. Go live. Do. Go live. Do. It could be. I don't think that they had streaming back then. It's like Motown. The Supremes and Motown. What was the original name for the Supremes? Winter peas, winter chicken dinner. I used to be a blackjack dealer. All the weird jobs in the world that I've had, That was one. I was a blackjack dealer, and we used to have a pit boss. He used to come in and he'd always tell people, "Hey, look there, you got a winner, 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 chicken dinner." After you hear that about 10,000 times, you get sick of it. And I heard it just about every damn day. I live about a half an hour from Detroit. That's cool. Golden Ladies Duet? Could be. I don't know. I tried Googling it and I couldn't figure nothing that was matching on Google. But what was the original name for the Supremes? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, to question 19 is A as in apple, the Primettes. The Motown Museum is awesome. I have never been there, Louise. I've never been to Motown Museum. I've been there to, Motown Hits, pulled up front and took pictures of it, but I've never been to the actual museum itself. But still cool. But the answer to question 19 is A as in apple. The Primettes was the original name of the Supremes. The Temptations were the Prims. Question 20. Believe it or not, and here's your Stevie Wonder question. Believe it or not, Stevie Wonder has purchased a lot of businesses in his lifetime for different reasons. What radio station does Stevie Wonder own? Is it A, 102.3 FM Los Angeles, B, Hot 106 AM Dallas, C, 107.7 The Hawk New York, or D, the cool classic 104.5 Rio Grande? What radio station does Stevie Wonder own? Dealing in blackjack was fun. I'll tell you why I quit that job, Purple. If the job itself was fun, but I got to the point where it really got to me. I would watch people come in who I knew had no business being in a casino and spending money to trying to win more. They got like a couple $100 to rub together to get them by to the next paycheck, and they'd come in and they'd waste all their money. And it's like, why are you even here? And the same people would come in, day out, trying to turn $20 into 100, try to turn 100 into 1,000. And I got to the point where I just could not watch people lose their money every single day. And knowing that, I'm there and I'm getting paid to watch people, destroy their lives slowly. So I quit. I was a pit boss, floor, boss, and a blackjack dealer on top of it all. But I was just like, can't do it. I quit. I did it for like a year and a half, right in there. That and the management changed, and I couldn't stand the owner of the place. There was a small casino back then. They only had like 25 table games, not counting the poker room. But I couldn't stand the place. The people I worked with were, generally, really nice people. It was the owner was a real, jerk. So I just said, no, can't do it anymore. There are people who you can walk into any casino right now, and they will spend. You can pick them out in short order. It's like after being in a casino for so long that you could say that person shouldn't be here, that person shouldn't be here, and they're doing everything they can to try to win. They're playing games that have got extraordinarily bad odds, and they're against them, but they're playing it. They're trying. Yeah, early 80s. Believe it or not, Stevie Wonder has purchased a lot of businesses in his lifetime for different reasons. What radio station does Stevie Wonder own? Those people with no control. Yeah, yeah. It's sad. It definitely it got to me after working there for a while. I was just like I dreaded going to work because that was like I knew somebody was going to lose everything that they had, and they didn't have $5 left in their to put gas in their car. They'd lose it all, and then they'd be back the next week or 2 weeks or whenever they could get scrape together some more money. Terrible, but live and learn. Live and learn from everything. Everything is a learning experience in this world. And we've got A, and Stephanie Fisher going with A. Believe it or not, Stevie Wonder has purchased a lot of businesses in his lifetime for different reasons. What radio station does Stevie Wonder own? Question 20. The answer is 102.3 FM Los Angeles. I used to drive a charter bus in Colorado and would drive people to the casinos in Black Hawk and Central City. And I would always see old ladies losing all their pension money. It hurt you. Yeah, right, Car. I can understand that. Christina, good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend. We did. Thank you, Christina. I hope you had a great weekend. But Stevie Wonder owns 102.3 FM in Los Angeles. A as in Apple is the correct answer. Now for the bonus question. Depeche Mode released their debut album in 1981. What iconic toy did they name their album after? Was it A, Lincoln Logs, B, Speak and Spell, C, Basketball Minigame, or D, Play-Doh? Depeche Mode released their debut album in 1981. What iconic toy did they name their album after? Dun, dun, dun. It's way sad to see that if I go play anything now, I play the machines that play for a little bit, like $10, lose it, I walk, and that's smart. See, but there's a difference, there, Purple, between casually playing, for fun and for entertainment, and people that I would watch who would, they would lose everything that they had, and they just don't know how to just not go. And those are the ones that I'm talking about, the ones that were absolutely destroying their own lives. And we had other ones, rocket socket and robots for E, maybe D. I saw a lot of crazy shit happen at casino. We used to have this guy come in all the time, and he would drink himself to a stupor, and then we'd kick him out, and then he'd just go outside and just lay down behind the bushes next to the building, and then we'd have to drag his ass out of the bushes or have the cops come and drag him off the property, and then he'd be gone for a couple of days, and he'd come back and lose everything again, and he'd try to find a place behind the bushes again or someplace else. And we was like, why do you keep on doing this? He was convinced that he was just one hand away. He had a system and he was going to make it rich. Don't ever know what happened to him. I only went to the casino for all you can eat king crab legs. Ooh, that'd be good. Excuse me. It's an addiction as well as known. Very sad. It is. Very, very much is. I gamble every once in a while. Me and Tim will go to the casino, but I always have a limit. I say this is all I'm spending, and I stick to it. And last night, we went to a house, our friend's house, and we played Texas Hold'em. I ended up finishing fourth. I finished out of the money because we pay the top three. But it's all right. It's only $15. I mean, for $15, I got what, 6 hours of entertainment for $15. I'd rather eat. My grandmother used to work at Circus, selling tickets to the shows. We'd go down there, and I don't remember ever watching my parents gamble. If they did, it was like, maybe throw $1 in at a gas station, one arm bandit. But we'd go there and we'd, watch shows, visit grandma, go to the buffets. We never did much of anything else in Vegas. No, they don't. Baccarat, best odds in casino for fun. I've never played Baccarat. I mean, I know what it is, but I wouldn't know how to play it, though I've seen it. The games, in some of the casinos that I've walked through. But bright cards, you're absolutely right. They don't care. Don't care a rat's ass about, the person, if they have an addiction or not. All they're after is your money. So, Dorothy Larkin is going with B, speak and spell. Budweiser doesn't care about sickness, alcoholics either. And that's true. More people die from, the side effects of alcohol and alcoholism than anything else. But yet, we advertise alcohol everywhere. Actually, they don't love drinkers and gamblers. People have to have responsibility. Yep. All right, so bonus question. Depeche Mode released their self-debuted album in 1981. What iconic toy did they name their album after? And the answer is B as in boy, speak and spell. Speak and spell. And that is all of the questions on tonight's trivia. People have to, well, there's a lot of things. And I was playing one machine and I was waiting for it to stop rolling and doing its thing. And everybody's looking at the sheet machine going, what's going on? Yeah, I was winning. I've never played slots. We used to have a machine here that used to you push the button and it would dispense pull tabs. But you have to go to a larger Native American casino to actually be able to play like slot machines. Where I live, we have a local like card room casino. It's boring because they only have like 4 games, but they have like multiple tables of the same thing. So it's like, nah, I don't see the point of it. And that's all that the Fat Lady sang. You have those in Iowa, the one-armed bandits, the the pull tab machines. I've never played them. But my mother and my grandmother, when my grandmother was alive, my mom's mom, when she was alive, they used to catch a senior bus that would take them from their little town to the actual casino, and they would load up 60 people in one of these big buses and take them to the casino. And apparently they would sit and play quarter slots all day long. That was their entertainment on the weekends, Saturday and Sundays. But I've never played them. I guess if it's entertainment for you and you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, right? Who am I to judge what you do with your money and your time? We have buses that go to the Indian gaming casinos, free ride, and they give you money to gamble with. I'm sure that there's some kind of catch in it too. They got to be getting either the bus is owned by the casino. you, I mean, you used to be able to here. You used to they have this. I can't remember what the name of the air. It was like a plane. It'd fly you from here to Vegas. If you showed them that you had like $3,000 in cash on you, the plane fare was there to Vegas, and back was free. I want to say it was something like Allegiant or something like that, but or something. It had something like name like that, Allegiance. But I'm probably wrong. They're probably thinking of something else. But they used to have that shuttle service here, but they don't have it anymore. But they may have it somewhere else, but they just don't have it here. I still have a speaking spell in the basement. You do? That is cool. Is it one of the original ones with the where all the buttons are behind the plastic itself, and it push sensitive? Because later versions had the actual raised buttons on them. I always loved my speaking spell. I don't remember how old I was when I had it. I think I was a little bit older of a kid when I got it. I don't know if I got it secondhand or what, but I remember having one at some point. But then, a lot of toys, that you can't have anymore. Well, at least they don't make them. They're not the same quality of toys. I know, like going to the store to buy toys now for my son. Everything's made out of plastic, and it falls apart, in no time at all. And then you just got to go back and buy, a new one, in short order. They call it built-in obsolescence. They know that if they make a Tonka truck out of all metal, it's going to last a lifetime. But they can make it out of 70% metal and make the stress points out of plastic, it's going to break, and then you're just going to have to buy another one. So it's built-in obsolescence into the toy. I need one, still do. Casinos are okay if you just go and play a couple of slots, eat a good dinner, dance a little, and then go to your room and sleep and then get back home safely. Hey, I mean, they all have their advantages, but if you're able to just look at it as entertainment and you don't go crazy, yeah, I can see that. I can see why people like to do it. I mean, to each their own. I'm not here to judge anybody. You saw BB King at a casino? Yeah, I saw BB King at the Blues Festival. First time I saw him. They brought him out, brought out a chair, and he sat down in the chair, played the guitar. But I also saw George Clinton in the Funkadelics. Buddy Guy absolutely blew my mind. I was not prepared for Buddy Guy. I had no idea who he was until I saw him come on stage. I'm just like, everybody else is walking away to go get snacks and beers and stuff like that. And I'm standing there and I'm like, this guy comes out and he starts playing the guitar. And I'm like, holy shit, where's this guy been my entire life? Why is it I don't know who this guy is? And I was just mesmerized by Buddy Guy. Part of the time, his band was really good. Is BB King still alive? BB King is a guitar god. I don't think so, right, Cart? But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Somebody Google it and see if BB King is still alive. Oh, he is deceased. I saw Carole King pumping gas in San Bruno. Excuse me. Carole King. That'd be cool. I like to see. I would have liked to have seen Carole King back in the day. In concert. That'd been great. One of the concerts, me and my mother-in-law, we look back on that. We wished that we could have gone and seen was we wanted to go see Gordon Lightfoot, but that didn't happen. And then as the years went by, you know, his voice, wasn't there anymore. Damn it. We saw Third Day in concert and met him later. That's cool. Jenny, yeah. Jenny is late. I'm sorry. You can watch it and rewind. Carole King has a YouTube channel, does she? I did not know that. Well, you got to be careful with some of those. If she has like live streams or she has other content, if it's just like an artist approved channel and it's got that little stupid blue note next to it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's Carole King. I don't know what the content is on the channel. I'm just giving you as an example. But I know that there are not one, but there are several different YouTube channels that say that they are the official music channel of Garth Brooks' music, and not a damn one of them are Garth Brooks. And half of the songs that they put on playlists are not even Garth Brooks singing those songs. Garth Brooks pulled that music off of YouTube and sent out cease and desist letters to anybody who had it. But there's another artist from Nashville, Tennessee, who sounds an awful lot like the younger version of Garth Brooks. But it's that person singing the songs and not Garth Brooks. Especially like stuff that's off of No Fences. But because over half of that album has been pulled off of YouTube and all streaming services, especially iTunes. But they say that they're the official music channel for them. It's her channel. She goes on and talks, plays music during sad times. Well, that's cool. Korn still tours. I'm going to that. Really wish I could have seen Ozzy. He broke his ankle when you bought a ticket in high school and turned 10 years later for $200 more. Jesus. Coachella, California Casino Resort. What does that say? Night. You have a great week ahead, Purple. Thank you for being here. Kanye West and Travis Scott were planning to play the Coachella, California Casino and Resort. Apparently, ZZ Top still tours. My husband said I'm going. Yeah, well, I guess that's good getting on it. As long as you like ZZ Top's music, the hombres. Fabulous time, everyone. Have a great week. Thanks, Will. You too, as well, Stephanie. Thank you very much. You have a great week. Stay safe out there. Thank you for the trivia, Will. Looking forward to the weekend trivia games. Oh, thank you. Carole King's YouTube channel. Thank you, Interpeas. I didn't know that she had a YouTube channel. I'll definitely look into it later on. But yeah, you just have to be really careful about what if they're just putting up music videos, and they say that they're the official artist, content, or a branded account, that doesn't even mean that they're the real ones, the real artists. I don't even qualify. My channel, this channel right here, 411 Now, it does not qualify to become a branded channel. I don't meet the requirements. And I'm like, oh, thank you, YouTube. Whose content is it if it's not my content? some things that with YouTube just make no sense at all. I mean, uh, what was it? David Gilmour. David Gilmour, he fought with YouTube for years to be able to use the name and the rights to his own music on his own YouTube channel. But he really does have an official YouTube channel. I miss being here on Sunday nights. Love you all, guys. Well, thank you. Take care and hope you have a great week. Thank you, Scotty Donut. I'd love to see ZZ Galveston was. I wanted to read that. Come back to your question, comment. I'd love to see ZZ. Galveston has a gazebo from their founded song ZZ is one of the best from Texas. Should be a good time. Well, as long as you enjoy the music in the company you're with, or even just I've gone to a lot of concerts with people that I'm not particularly into the music itself, but I go anyways because the company that I'm with, and if you listen to it enough. For an example, I'll give you an example of what I'm trying to get at. The first time that I went and saw an actual orchestra play, I'm not one that that's into classical orchestral music, stuff like that. That's just not my jive. All right. But my mother-in-law loves Broadway plays and off-Broadway plays, so we would go and to Broadway plays, and I was like, I have no interest in that at all until I went and I watched the first one. I was like, okay, that was pretty good. And then you see it, and it's completely different. It opens up your mind and your experiences. Just like the first time I went and saw an orchestra play, and then I was like, I didn't think I was going to be into it, and then I was like, you know what? This is actually really good. The talent that it takes to be able to put something like that together. It change your mind. But at the same time, I'm there with my mother-in-law. She enjoys it, and I enjoy her company. She's a great lady. Exactly. I never turn down live music. No, it should be a good time. This channel is awesome. Everyone is so friendly, and they acknowledge everyone. That means a lot to this old lady. Well, thank you, Linda. We're just down home, good people. I have the world's best audience. And I know a lot of people say that, but I do. And I truly am, extremely appreciative for each and every one of you being here week in and week out. Symphony orchestras are the bomb. Yeah. But I went down the rabbit hole, like, off Broadway plays and Broadway plays. I've seen the movie versions, or I've read the book or something like that, then seen the actual play, like Death of the Salesman. If you see the Broadway play, the done, or versus like or the movie versus like the three of them, and all of them, you can get something new from each and every one of them, into every version of it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up there. I really do appreciate each and every one of you stopping in tonight to play music trivia with us tonight. And I hope that everyone has a terrific week ahead. Wow. I mentioned Galveston because I live 14 miles from Surfside and 50 miles from Houston. So he used to play at the G Beach. Yeah. In high school, our marching band director had us play show tunes. There you go. Show tunes would be cool. You learn a lot. Everything's a learning experience in this world. I wish more people would, realize that. Get out there and try something new. You don't have if you stay in the same, restricted avenue lane, stay in your lane. You never learn anything new. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. You all have a terrific week, and I will see you again soon.